Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Competitive Speed Series. We are here for the penultimate round of the Grand Prix, and I've gone straight to the standing screen here for tonight, just to show how close it is with 2 rounds remaining. It's Novus leading the way by 22 points to BRT, and I don't actually think it can get much closer than this. Novus has a lot of work to do, but if I'm looking at the stewards' reports correctly, there might be some penalties for BRT, which means that they will be starting at the back of the grid, which is going to be even bigger. Some next level racing is required from those guys this evening, as we are just getting ready for qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which is going to be absolutely insane. Novus have a huge advantage going into the final round, which is a Japanese Grand Prix. But enough about those at the moment. ERT came into the league last week from coming in and filling in, and they're doing a very good job of holding station with 2 points, win their first race as well. But Team Shizou getting victory and throwing themselves ahead of TTM. TTM have gone massively by the wayside this season. Not what we would have expected from them at all. And they are down in 4th place, languishing about 26 points behind Team Shizou. FRT doing a fantastic job there in 5th place. And I think not mathematically safe from keeping in that top 5, but they're doing a very good job of that. AMS have still a few cards up their sleeves, I am sure of that one, as both Tech and BRT Murphy, the drivers for the BRT team this evening, have retired from the session. We're just waiting for the guys to get any sort of practice would be well, I say practice, any sort of movement on the track would be great, as we are just waiting for them to come through. Just a quick rundown, I guess we could go through the teams one last time. Is VCARB is the FRT team, the McLaren sees the NVR team in there, TTM are in the Williams, with Shizou in the Red Bull, FGE are in the Mercedes, and BRT in the Sauber. In the Aston Martin, you have the TIE team, the XPG team are in the Ferrari. There is one missing of those tonight, so Josh is flying the XPG Ferrari flag on their own tonight, and EVR are in the Alpine, and AMS are in the Haas team. I suppose with a couple of cars heading out on track. More important, I say a couple of cars. More importantly, the first one on is the NVR driver of Gabor, NVR Gabor, who has been absolutely incredible on one lap pace through this season. I guess it's the best way to describe it. We'll have to wait and see how he will handle the pressure, because it's added pressure now for him. With both BRT drivers out, he can't really rest on his laurels. He has to be in that top 3 to really stamp MVR's mark in this championship, and Quantum there as well. We know how quick they can be as well. We saw in Miami, though, that things can sometimes go awry as teammates go. But they've done a fantastic job this season, and that is why they are top. Let us go down then and see what Gabor can do as they are coming through the first sector now. Up the hill into turn 4, which can be so tricky. Corner cuts very likely here, as or track extending on the exit of turn 4. Nice and tight into 5, using not as much as a curb as I've seen in the past, as they come through now into the little chicane of 6 and 7. And this pit of the track, you can lose so much time with making just small mistakes, just not pushing to the absolute maximum, and you can lose a lot of time. But Gabor is looking very, very quick right now, as he is trying his best to set a really good banker lap time. It's what he needs to do, as we will go very shortly on board with his teammate. But here's Gabor across the line to set the penultimate lap time on, and it's a 13.2 to start the day. And now through goes his teammate. Quantum is a 13.4. Both very good lap times to set things off. Detto for the TTM team, the 13.9. Let's see where his teammate TTM Placky can go. He's a little bit further down. There's a few other drivers to set lap times, and just like that, he is invalidated as I speak about him. AMS knocked there in 8th. He's not set the world alight, unfortunately, with that one. Exotic Plans. Across the line, it is a 13.9. So, Shizou Ogwin doing what he does best and being an absolute nightmare for any driver at the top. And he's made a living out of that this season, doing a really good job tonight. And he's up there in 2nd place, splitting the 2 NVR drivers at the moment. Silo, another driver that has come in and really done a great job of setting the scales for FRT at the moment. Obviously started, I believe, with AMS, and now he's jumped ship over to the FRT. let us know in the chat who you think is going to take pole position for tonight. Gabble for the win already is one of the shouts in the chat, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm glad you've decided to come and join me instead of the Ballon d'Or process this evening. But Maverse, I'll come to call him, is currently on a lap time. Silo unable to set it through. Jay saying tech compile. I mean, if he's managing to do that, that would be absolutely an insane bit of skill or hacking that he's managed to do tonight. But he's got a lot of work to go through. But here comes Maverse then across the line. Currently P13 for him. Shazoo Venom then. Possibly the next guy. Is he? Yeah, possibly the next driver out, or is Typical on an in-lap? We'll have a look, see what Typical is up to. See if that is an in-lap for Typical. I would assume it is, considering he is coming around the final corner now, and the back end is stepping out very, very muchly there. And there we go, into the pits for them. Shazoo Venom then on an outlap, heading through this area as best they can at the moment, while keeping the tyre temperatures in that window as best as possible. Obviously not using any of the ERS. There's not going to be any slipstream gain here tonight because there is ghosting through the qualifying to make sure there's none of that issues that are so common with, unfortunately, F1 2024 at the moment. And as he heads through into the final corner now, turn 14, he now punches it through, putting all the power in. And that was a very, very aggressive exit out of there, and possibly lost a little bit of time because of the back end slip there, but through into turn 1 for the Red Bull driver. Nice and tight at the moment, and he's doing his good job at keeping to the outside for turn 2, and then straight to the apex through there as well. Nice little kick to the right for turn 3. He's not used as much as the curb there is possible, as he's definitely gone way off track, and that is his surely qualifying over and done with. AMS Knight through very, very wide on the exit there, is using as well pretty much all the track he can, and he's done that through as safely as possible, as unlike Venom through this tight and twisty Hungarian Grand Prix, using as much of the curbs as possible, bouncing up over it, using every possible inch that they can, as the Red Bull of Venom there are going very, very slowly in front of the AMS Haas car for this evening, and possibly a little bit of off-put maybe for AMS Knight, but across the line for Knight, and it's up into 9th place. As I believe that will be Shazoo Venom going for a lap again. A 1:22 to start with. Who else is on? There's going to be a load of drivers on a lap time. And one of them probably, without a shadow of a doubt, will be... Oh, I was going to say, without a shadow of a doubt, going to be Gabble, but he's invalidated. He's only 3,000th of a second quicker than Ogween. Ogween is, well, doing the best he can to, well, not make it this season go without a fight for Shazoo. Obviously unable now to win it, but wants to stay in 3rd place and maybe knock on the door for BRT with their troublesome race for this one. Silo's on a lap as well. Could very well be just about a set lap. It's either him or his teammate Simbarox 1 that crosses the line. Sorry, no, that was Placky that goes into P3. Quantum then continuing through on his lap, and across the line for Quantum. It's conclusional pole for the time being. Let's see who was... It was FRT Silo that I wanted to see where... They're just starting a lap time. Some times coming in. I think that is Venom up into 5th place, splitting the two TTM drivers who haven't had the best of things at the moment, but it's looking very good. Shazoo and TTM, another big fight on our hands for this evening and for the championship, which will likely roll round, or I say likely, it could roll round to the final race, which is next week at the Japanese Grand Prix around Suzuka, the only figure of 8 circuit we've got. But here is FRT Silo, who's really pounding through these. Maybe the back end is stepping out a little bit through the exit of turn 8, which could have cost him a little bit. That could be his driving style. You never know. That was on the last game very much a case of, well, nearly drifting around some of the corners was the best way to get the pace through. But through into turn 13, looking relatively good for Silo at the moment. We know how quick he has been throughout the season when he's shown. And here he is across the line for FRT, and it's into 6th place. It's not enough to trouble the top drivers at the moment. Venom, I think, is coming into the pits now. Ogween as well. Typical, he's on a lap, but is slightly down, which might not be ideal for the non-FRT driver, just to make things confusing. Typical does not drive for FRT anymore. He drives for FGE, just to make things a little bit more confusing for some of you out there. But let's see what can happen for Typical. He was up in his middle sector, which can only bode well for the FGE man, and he's diving into the pit lane, which, yeah, not ideal. So we'll just see who else could be on a lap time. Silo's probably on his way in. Sem F1 in the other FGE car. Got a fan out there saying he's going to claim pole today. Let's see what they can do then as they head through into turn 1. 7 minutes of qualifying remaining. And just to remind you that NVR have a 22-point gap over BRT, and BRT are starting 19th or 18th and 19th. Because of qualifying bans. Josh in the Ferrari is on their own tonight, and unfortunately Bourbon Boy couldn't make it, and XPG means one driver for them, which is problematic because they're in a battle and a scrap for themselves. But at the moment it is all about Sem and what Sem can do as they head on through. A little bit of a kinky right left and then back into a right part of the track, and now brakes hard into turn 12 and then through, following a Williams just ahead, who could be Placky on a lap, or it could be Detol just about to start a lap time. But Sem got to be very quick. He's a little bit down on anyone else up towards him, but he is up into 5th place, still a little bit off the main boys at the top, which is Quantum, Gabor and Ogween. Gabor across the line. Will he take provisional pole? He has again off his teammate. Where is Ogween? Where is Quantum? I think Quantum's going to be the first one of those drivers to set a lap through. Seems very much the case that it will be one of those 3 that will take pole position. We will go on board with Placky though as they head down into turn number 12 for the TTM man, and he's not having, it seems, just a little bit scruffy in certain areas, and I wonder if it was a pit stop lap, and it looks definitely the case. Quantum is going to be very close to his teammate. I don't think it's enough to claim pole or provisionally, but he's going to be very, very close to Gabor's time as he hugs turn 13, pushing all the power through as he comes through 14 now, down the back straight. It's looking relatively good for the MVR man, and across the line it was a little bit slower than he would have probably have liked. 4.5 minutes left. Ogween decides to throw himself into the pit lane. Josh has invalidated. Venom has invalidated. Knight has invalidated. Timber Rocks 1. Have you got anything on the board for us? He might do indeed. Exotic Plans is just behind, and I think ETE Pep and ARS and Nox possibly just ahead. Timber Rocks 1 is quicker than his previous lap time. This could be good for the FRT man as they come through the final penultimate corner of turn 13. Probably a little bit too into the pit lane entrance there. Possibly lost a little bit of grip maybe as across the line. It is quicker, only just, as Nox throws himself up into 11th as we are on board. Is Quantum going into the pits? I wonder if... Yeah, Quantum must be going into the pits. Typical, I believe, is on an in-lap as well. So it's Silo coming through now into this middle sector. He's not seen the best qualifying from him as of yet. As they come through turn 5 and into turn 6. Let's see what he does with the curbs. I think he's just a bit too far away from the apex as they come into 6. Which possibly is losing him a little bit of time. With 3 minutes of the session remaining as well, they probably will need to think about whether this is if this isn't hooked up properly. Maybe throw themselves into the pits. Let's see what they will do. No, he thinks he's got it. Let's see. 2 minutes 50. I don't think it's enough to get around again and then into the pits, but across the line for FRT Silo, it's P4 for them. Detol is going to be the first of the final runners as a gaggle of cars is now coming out. So Detol coming into this final phase of the lap, final phase of qualifying. 2 minutes 20 remaining. Keep those predictions of pole. Who's going to think it's going to be? Is it going to be Gabble for another race in this season? Or can Quantum, Ogwin, or maybe Placky do something special? Detol's right in the middle of the track. He's going for another... Looks like he's going for another install lap, which is quite an interesting decision there. Maybe it's... No, maybe it's Simba Rocks. No, it can't be Simba Rocks. It's going to be an Aston Martin. Liam Hardman, maybe. Nope. Maverse is going to be the first, then, of the final runners. As long as there's no major invalidations or anything for them. 1 minute 28 remaining. He's got enough time, if he does invalidate, to go around again. But you're looking at about 1 minute 20 at this point. You're not going to have another chance to do it. Is there a driver into the pits? Yeah, it is. That is Silo, I think, now into the pits. He's not going to do another lap. But Maverse then up through into exiting Sector 1. Into Sector 2 he goes. He is quicker than his previous lap time. Still got a little bit of work to do to get into the 13s as they round through turn 5 now into turn 6 and 7. This can be tricky. He's onto the curves pretty much perfectly. So we'll have to wait and see how much this is an increase. As they cross the Sector 2 timing screen, he's got to make sure that at the exit of turn 11 is perfectly fine. Maybe not pushing as much as he could have done, but nearly enough to get them into the 13s where the... well, could be out of 17th place, possibly into 14th, 15th, and 12th. 12th is probably a little bit too far, but 13th is a possibility. Across the line, it's 15th for the time being. Has Josh done any improvement? No, there's an invalidation there. There's a Williams just behind. Is that Placky? It is, and Placky's invalidated as well, and that's not good. Silo's in the pits. Where is next? It possibly is Simba Rocks 1. No, it's not. It's got to be Venom. It is Venom. So this is going to be crucial parts here. Venom across the line. It's up into 3rd place for Venom. That's a very good lap time from Suzu. Venom. Ogwin has invalidated. Quantum is, well, Gabble's going across the line now. Is that even quicker? No, he must have invalidated or given up on the lap. But here is Quantum coming now. It's going to be pole unless something from Sem. No, Sem can't go any quicker. That is very good lap time. Nearly into the 12s for Quantum. And NVR have really done what they needed to do and probably what they have set themselves out to do. And that is just be at the top. As long as they don't get caught up in any incidents, that is going to be the next thing. Simba Rocks 1 on a lap. I will go and have a look. No, it is a problem. Maybe caused invalidation somewhere. He's just staying out of the way of drivers, which he doesn't actually need to do. as Josh is... I'm not 100% sure what Josh is doing. He's going over the line backwards. Simbarox 1 now will head into the pits and end qualifying, which means Quantum, Gabor and Venom are going to be your top three. Sem has thrown themselves into 4th place for the Mercedes and FGE team. That's a very, very good lap time as well, just to say for that and for FGE. Going to be very, very happy as we just wait for the session to sort itself out. And hopefully it will give me the full order. But it has been known in the past not to do that. So bear with us for a moment as we wait for the times to go down. Sooner or later it will hit the 0 and it will go to the multiplayer screen. Of course it will. Of course it will. Let us head back to the standing screen. Round 10. It was a mystery Grand Prix last time out at Monza, and what a race it was indeed. Some incredible issues there, and thankfully Ace was on hand to get all the timings for us. So we can go down it a little bit quickly now. So it's Quantum on pole with Gabor in second. On the second row of the grid, we've got Venom and Sem. In 5th, we've got Ogween and Silo. 7th is Placky and Knight. In 9th place, starting on the 5th row of the grid, is TTM Detto and Josh. That's a good lap time from Josh to get himself up there. Simba Rocks on the 6th row of the grid, and alongside him is Nox. And while I just wait for the lobby to get itself resetted, we'll continue on down. It was Exotic Plains in 13th, and 14th is Typical. 15th is Liam Hardman and his teammate in 16th. In 17th is ETA Pepin. And then you've got the BRT duo starting at the back of the grid, 18th and 19th, because of a qualifying ban. That is the crucial bit around this. The qualifying bans. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how well, I'm just trying to think of the best way to describe it, how they're going to be able to handle the pressure through this, because if you're looking at the standings as they're up now, they are 22 points behind Novus. That 22 points is compounded by the fact that MVR are 1st and 2nd. You don't get points for qualifying, obviously, but whew, you do feel a little bit of confidence, and yeah, it's very much a case of, you know, one step forward for those. Okay, you get the point scoring is different here, so 35 from 1st place you get more, and the points go down to 15th. So plenty of things to talk about on that front. But yeah, Novus and BRT are the big point score, talking point tonight. Obviously, you've got the battle for P3 between Team Shazoo and TTM, and Shazoo, Ogween and Venom taking the fight, definitely qualifying 5th and 3rd. Through that, Ogween invalidating his final lap through as well. So you start to wonder. Well, you do wonder if maybe he overcooked it a little bit through that, and maybe he could have got himself possibly in between Quantum and Gabor. He's been doing that very well all season long. Sem, F1, I believe his first race for competitive speed series this week, or this season as well. Doing a very good job. 4th place, from the sounds of things in the chat, it's his personal best, so he's done a very good lap time indeed for him and FGE team. Then we've got the FRT driver of Silo in 6th place, and obviously they are fighting with AMS for the battle for P5. over 30 points, 37 points, I think, between them. Still a lot of points. You know, all it takes is AMS to take a victory, and it all of a sudden goes very, very interesting for the final race. And AMS drivers are 12th and 8th. So FRT got to be on their toes. Simba Rocks won just ahead of Nox, so in 11th. So definitely some interesting points there. FGE unfortunately won't be going too much higher with what is going on at the moment. And there we have it. That is, well, while we wait, we'll go for the lobby to get this sorted. We'll go for a quick sponsor break, and then just a little bit of time, an intermission screen, just to give us a little bit of time to get sorted for the race. Cheers, Ace. Hopefully that is typical of me. But yes, yeah, BRT definitely in a world of pain with the pressures that they've got on them with the double qualifying pan, and that's a point to talk about right now. And you know they've got to finish. At least one of their drivers has got, well, I say at least one. Both of their drivers have to finish at least ahead of at least one of the MVR team. Gabor and Quantum are first and second in this from the qualifying, so they'll start there. They maybe going to need some help from a safety car or strategy calls. You never know how it's all going to pan out for these guys. Hungary is there's not real much. It's not a safety car track, but you never know with incidents how it's all going to pan out. I will just let's go have a look at the results screen one more time, and 22 points. Yeah, between first and second, and unfortunately, in this session, Novus are first and second, and BRT are 18th and 19th, and that's unfortunate if you're a BRT fan, or if you're wanting to go down to the final race of the season, which is next week at Japan, as they're just setting up for their settings. It's probably going to be a medium hard is likely the setup for tonight. I can't imagine anyone is going to risk a set of softs here. 35 laps is definitely going to be interesting. We will wait and see how the tyre choices and the strategy go. It's looking very dry, so I can't imagine there being any major weather issues, I suppose. I mean, you could get towards the end of the race, maybe a little bit of rain, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully the graphic will work for me today as well. But yeah, that is the season as a whole. We started in Britain all the way back in August, at the beginning of August. We are now at the end of October, round 11 at the Hungary ring, and we have had an absolute cracker of a season. A couple of mystery rounds to throw in as well, but we are going to go racing here in very short amount of time, and the 5 red lights are on, and away we go. And it looks like a very good start, and oh my goodness me, there is definitely someone who's made a mistake, and Ogween has apparently got the lead of the Grand Prix, but I don't fully agree with that because he is there in 3rd place. So timing glitches on through this. So Quantum and Gabble lead the way, with Venom being caught with his teammate through there. Are we seeing a load of ghosted drivers? Has that been turned off, or what is going on? But we'll have to, well, we'll continue on for now, as I think Venom there still side by side with his teammate Ogween as they head down into turn 6 and 7, very tight. I think it's sorted itself out now as Sem dropped down a little bit. Now let's have a look at the tyres. Majority of people are on a set of hard compounder tyres as well. So this is why they're maybe seeing, oh, look at that. Very defensive there from Venom. He's trying to keep everyone behind for the time being. He knows Ogween can cause problems to Gabble and Quantum. Gabble could very well be doing the same thing to Ogween as well. Get Quantum out in front, get him a big lead, and, you know, see where Novus can go from there. Here comes Ogween, though. Is he going to go to the inside? He looks to. Back onto the racing line. Both of them go. In the background, AMS Knight goes up the inside. There's a tagged Sem by Silo because of that move from Knight, but Knight is up into 5th place on the medium compounder tyres, which is possibly why he's got a little bit of pace. Josh off the track in the background through turn 3, and that is going to cost him big time, I think. And I think there was a complaint with a wrong grid order, but we're not 100% sure through that. BRT questioning. I don't think we're going to go for a restart just yet anyway. But Simba Rocks 1 up into 9th place there. Let's have a look at the positional changes. He's up 2 places. Typical's up 3 as well. Detol and Nox down an awful amount. Same as Sem, down 2. Not ideal. Let's go back to the tyres. There is only 2 drivers on the set of medium compounder tyres as Tech now gets past Nox. And he's through that as well. And BRT Joe Murphy is 24 seconds. He's gone into the pits. He's 24 seconds behind. I'm not 100% sure what has gone on there, but Joe Murphy starting a little bit further down than he would normally want to. In the background, you've got Nox and Peps fighting away. You've got Liam Hardman having a little bit of a moment, and he's caught Tech through that, and that is not ideal for BRT at all. Tech is absolutely going to be fuming with that. It was just a mistake out of turn 1 for Liam Hardman, but it just didn't work in the end for them. And well, apparently the overlay is not working at all this week, so sorry about that, gents. That just did not work. But yeah, through lap 3, Quantum has that 1.8 second gap to the rest of the field. Let's go back up to Ogween, who's desperately trying to find a way past Gabble. There is rain towards the end of the race, which is not ideal for some of these drivers. But Quantum pulling away. Here comes Ogween. He's gone up the inside, in the background at Knight as well. And he's been tagged, I think. Knight has tagged Gabor. All of a sudden, this race has flown back on its head. Sem's into 4th place. Silo and Knight... Placky and Knight fighting along there. Simba Rocks One now has Gabor and Josh for company just behind. But Gabor's going to be absolutely fuming with what's just happened. Take us out to pits as well. So it was Ogween. Ogween killed. Okay. I'll have to re-look at that. It looked like Knight went a little bit too deep into the corner and Ogween had made the move stick. But without having a full look at that, we'll have to wait and see. Through it all there as Simba Rocks One fighting through. Silo and Sem, though, back up. Ogween 2 seconds away from Quantum. Quantum has a lot of time to him and Gabor. Him and Ogween. Gabor down into 10th place. We'll have to wait and see as the chat is just confirming maybe a few things. The typical Gabor and Josh having a little bit of a fight into turn. Oh, Gabor into turn 2. And has that allowed Josh a little run on him? I don't think it has in the end. And typical just dropping down 2 places there as numerous drivers are now fighting and changing and positional. Josh and, oh goodness me, Josh and Typical getting very, very close. And that could have thrown Exotic into a little bit of a, oh my goodness. Let's go back up towards the top where we're going to see if... I don't think Ogween can do anything really, as a lot of smoke coming from these guys breaking into turn 13 and 12 there. Well, at least I'm vindicated with what I saw, but we'll have to wait and see. We can get clips of it later, and if the Lando guy was right, he was right. If he's not, he's not. We will have to wait and see. But just behind, we've got a couple more pits. Detol and Nox have pitted for a set of mediums, and if it is going to rain with about 10 minutes to go, is it? Should they not have started on it? We'll have to wait and see. Sorry, Jay. Let me know if my mic is on mute, because it's not. It's saying it's going on. It's picking up on OBS. So, okay. Thank you, C, for letting me know. Typical. Right. No, Typical's down in 9th place. So, Quantum leading the way by 1.4 seconds now. Ogween has closed that gap up. It was, I think, 2 seconds. But the incident with Gabor got... Well, Ogween and Gabor was going side by side into turn 1, but I think Knight decided to try and attack Venom into turn 1 as well. Maybe went too deep and collected Gabor. That's what I caught from it through all that. But Silo now is all over the back of Sem. Not the best of qualifying from Silo. We expected a little bit more from him through qualifying, but he's doing a good job in the race. Detol now the fastest man on that. Joe Murphy is now catching back up. He pitted on lap 1 and decided to go on for that onto hards. Then we are expecting some rain at some point. And we'll have to wait and see how it will all pan out, as Silo getting very close to the back end of Sem, just trying to nip into that, and There is now a safety car. What is the safety car for? I wonder. An AMS Knight DNF. But this could help some of the drivers towards the back with fresh tyres. We'll have to wait and see who does decide to take the bait for a pit stop. Does ETA Pep? They pop it into the pits. So this is going to be an interesting one. Safety car is out. Unsure why the safety car's out. I don't know if it was anything to do with Knight. But we have got a safety car, and it's starting to get cloudy here in Hungary. And I wonder how or when this rain is going to kick in. As Joe Murphy pits. Detol decides against pitting. He has only just come onto those mediums. Josh has stayed out. Exotic and Placky did pit. Joe Murphy's on a set of intermediates. Has he... He's made a mistake there. Surely, because there's no rain yet. Softs for tech. Knox is on a set of hards. This is an interesting... For when you only get 3 sets of tyres for the dry, and intermediates is not what I expected. We're going to have to wait and see. Joe is possibly... Maybe this is next level from Joe. We'll have to wait and see. This could be high IQ stuff, which is far ahead of me. But if rain is earlier than expected, then, well, the rain's got to get onto the track. And I think he's just gone onto a set of inters early doors to try a Sem pits. Oh, it's 10 seconds for Sem, and that is unlucky for him. A race that was going so well. But yeah, if the rain's got to bed into the track as well, it could be... I think he's just decided to set himself up early in the race, but he has stayed out. He's laying in that bed. We're going to have to wait and see how it will all go down. Detol and Josh is doing it now as well. This is interesting. A lot of drivers deciding that it's what to go on to. Or have they all been fooled by Joe Murphy? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe the BRT strategists are more akin to the old Ferrari strategists. We'll have to wait to hear what all that goes down. It'll be interesting to hear the reasons for this as well. We haven't had it for a little while. A safety car as confusing as this. 4 different tyre strategists or tyre strategies going on, and yeah, this is very, very strange. No rain yet on lap 9 of 35 here in Hungary, and we'll have to wait and see. And if the rain does come down now, it's still got to bed into the track. And we've seen, especially, well, we've seen in CSS in the past where the dry tyres and the inter dryers work very well even in that interchanging condition. There's the little glitch on the screen to show that it is going to rain, and there's a few drops happening now. Safety car is in this lap. Is the damage already done to the intermediate tyres? What does Quantum do? What does Ogween do? As surely away they go around the final corner now, and Quantum puts the foot down and he's gone. He is the de facto safety car, and he's bolted down the start finish straight, and he's done a very good job. And who is that? That's Placky has been absolute. Oh, big mistake from Quantum. He is being passed by Ogween. He's now in between. He's the meat in between the sandwich of the Shazoo sandwich right now, and Ogween leads the Grand Prix. Might have made a big mistake. Well, he has made a big mistake into turn 1. I don't think the rain was possibly the cause of it, but he's overbroked himself, and Ogween has the lead. Placky's managed to catch back up through all this. The rain is coming down slightly. I don't think it's ready for intermediate tyres yet. But they are keeping up with, or the intermediate runners, Joe Murphy and Josh, are keeping up with the rest. But they're going to have a sort of advantage come the end. Well, come these guys going into the pits, and there's Gabor making a very big mistake, but trying to make it work with an overtake on Simba Rocks one, but it hasn't worked in the end. But those intermediate tyres are going to be difficult to maintain. Into the pits is Ogween, into the pits is Venom. It is definitely time for the pits for some of these guys. The DRS is enabled still, though. This is going to be interesting. DRS is still enabled. No availability of it. But you can start seeing some puddles forming, the rain hitting down. Quantum has that 1.2 second lead. But Joe Murphy I think there's been a few cars that have gone into the pits, which is why he's further back from Placky, but he is attacking Placky. BRT, though, as Tech now fighting in the middle of Shazoo, Venom and Ogween. Plenty of time to be made in this. Lap 11 of 35. Some of these intermediates runners might not make it to the end because of the overheating under the safety car, which is possibly unlikely. But he's doing a very good job up the inside of Gabor, and there's connection between him and Gabor through turn, I think 8 there, 9, turn 9. And Gabor's now behind as Joe Murphy's dispatched the 2 TTM drivers as well. I'm not really 100% sure what's going on, but the dry runners really struggling for grip right now. Detto coming through just behind as Quantum, is he pitting? Yeah, surely he's pitting this time. As there goes Joe Murphy with Detto for fun at the moment. And down the start-finish straight they go. That's the Ferrari of Josh, who's up into a really good position right now. And this is where it's going to be interesting. Let's go board with Quantum. He's now onto a set of intermediates. He's passed by Ogween. That's a big gap that Ogween has got over him. Coming down, is Venom going to be too far back to make a move? I think Venom obviously the Shazoo team deciding that was a call to go on, but Ogween has a huge gap over some of these guys at the moment. But Gabble down in 18th place. His race has gone from bad to worst, and all of a sudden, what could very well have, people would have said should have been Novus dispatching this and claiming the title tonight after qualifying first and second. They are now 9th and 18th. The BRT Joe Murphy in first place and Tech Brutal in 12th. It is all absolutely insane, I think is the best way to describe it. But yeah, Detto and Joe Murphy are the leading cars, and there is no safety car. The safety car has been and gone, but this is going to be the interesting part. Josh is doing a very good job of holding the drivers up behind. Is there going to be an overtake, though, here from Detto to Joe Murphy as they head down the start-finish straight to start lap 13? Not on this occasion for Detto. Does Sem F1 decide? Sem does, and Josh has been very... Well, he left him a load of room, and still, unfortunately, Sem sent him a little bit packing, and oh goodness me, that's a very mistake into turn 2 there. That's unfortunate through there, and he's managed to hold in front of Typical for now. But these guys have got 8.8 seconds to Ogween behind, and Josh really struggling at the moment to get the car turned in where he wants to. Does Typical decide to make a move as they go into turn 6? He has to back out at the moment. As a little bit of a mistake, I think, there from Josh, and that's allowed Typical. They're going to go side by side through turn 8 into turn 9, and a switchback is possibly on for Typical, but I think he got a little bit of a nudge from Knox there, as Typical is trying to find a way through Josh, but it's just not happening at the moment. Josh holding firm at the moment, and he finally concedes the position to Typical, and also knocks into turn 12 there, and he will hold station behind. But Sem has managed to get 2 seconds to his teammate through that as well. Ogween, 6.4 seconds. He's doing a good job. He's bringing Silo along for fun as well. Quantum, 4.2 further back. And where is Venom in all this? He's down in 13th place. He's got to make sure he finishes in front of Placky. That's his job for the evening, I think. Just finish in front of a TTM and let Ogween do what he needs to do. We'll have to see if there is going to be any... I would think that there's going to be another pit stop for the intermediate guys that went out on the dry under the safety car. But I'm not sure about Ogween and the likes. Can they take it to the end of the Grand Prix? We'll have to wait and see. Now, as we just see Ogween continue to catch the driver ahead, and it must have been a mistake for Nox because he's been repassed by Josh. As we will go to the leaders again. These guys made that call early on to go on to a set of intermediate tyres in the dry, and it's worked out absolutely perfectly for them currently. Lap 14 of 35 as we come on through, and my phone's just giving me a heart attack saying that Ace is saying my mic is muted, but that was from earlier on because my phone is really delayed. But here comes Detol again. Great defensive from Joe Murphy. Goes over. There's not enough grip and no DRS to help. And back onto the racing line. Great work. Great driving from these two. And pulling away from the guys behind. Sem is now 5.6 seconds. He's got Typical catching back up. And I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of teamwork for these two. Because Typical has absolutely... Well, in this wet weather condition, he is flying right now. Ogween is 3.3 seconds behind Nox and Josh. He is flying as well. He's bringing Silo along for the journey. Quantum slowly catching that as well. But yeah, Joe Murphy leading the Grand Prix. 6.6 seconds. Is starting to get a few scrappy mistakes coming in from Detol right now, as he's losing ground to Joe Murphy, and Joe Murphy is looking very, very settled. And Joe Murphy, well, it's a Joe Murphy I've seen for countless seasons in WR Console Tier 1, and now I've just not seen it so much here in Competitive Speed Series, but he's looking a bit controlled, a little bit more managed, I guess is the best way. He's doing a very, very good job as he's heading down the start-finish straight. Still slightly pulling away from Detol behind. He's doing a very, very good job. And the two Mercedes drivers, third and fourth, and there goes Typical. Sem, I think, knows that Typical possibly is a faster driver in these conditions, and he's going to try and stick to the back end of him and see if they Typical can force him back up to the battle for the lead. Where's Josh and Nox in all this? They're still fighting away through it as well. But yeah, great teamwork for the XPG guys. I think it's the FGE guys. Sorry, FGE guys. Doing a very, very good job of teamworking themselves through that as well. But we have to be on board with this. Ogween is all over the back of Nox. He is, well, he's caught up in a rate of knots. Nox is dropped off a little bit from Josh, who's also having a very good race. Right place, right time, but he's doing a very good job of it at the moment. As coming on through turn 8 and 9 into turn 10 and 11. Where does Ogween make the move? He dart up the inside into turn 12. He's got to put a car between him and Silo, but it's not worked on this occasion. Actually, no, I lie. He has kind of got the move stuck. Nox is desperately trying to hold on in there, as finally concedes the position. Silo's the next man to try and do something. He's gone already up the inside through turn 14. He had to make the move sticks early because he couldn't let Ogween get away from him. As they come down into turn 1, does Nox do anything? No, he thinks better of it. As now Ogween sets Josh on his sights, and Typical isn't able to catch Detol too well ahead, and Joe Murphy now starting to flex a little bit with a 1.4 second gap. Simba Rocks one just dare through it as well. Where's Shazoo Venom in all this? He's got Placky and Gabor behind. Gabor is currently on the last point scoring position, which is not ideal through this. Ogween is probably the man to watch. Where does he catch up with Josh, and where does he make the move? That is the thing for it right now as they come on through. What's his design for all this? He doesn't want to catch him too soon. Is he going to do it down the start, finish straight? We'll have to wait and see. He won't get to the inside of turn 12, so will we see some special move in through 13 or 14 like we saw Silo do? He's thinking better of it at the moment. Silo knows his stuff, though. He doesn't want to hang around too long. He's going for an outside move as they go through turn 14, or is it going to be a switchback opportunity? Where's Silo's front wing? It's so close between the three of them as they head round turn 14. Surely a bit of ERS usage now as they head down the start, finish straight, and Josh is surely a sitting duck as they get into turn 1, and Josh is going to be, and Silo's going to follow suit, and surely Josh is going to fight this with Silo. This is for position. He doesn't have to concede, but he does in the end, and Silo, he follows on through. 4.4 seconds now between them and Sem-F1, who's just ahead. And typical Dettol is caught back up with Joe Murphy. There may have been a mistake somewhere for Joe Murphy, but we'll have to see a bit later on, or see if there's any news of that from the BRT team or the TTM team to let us know. But it's 8.2 seconds between typical and the front two drivers. They unfortunately haven't been able to dispatch and get through a little bit quicker. Quantum is now catching, I don't want to say at a rate of knots, but he is catching Ogween now. The time with this traffic, and where Ogween couldn't overtake, Quantum's caught up a little bit. So I think that's Maverse causing a yellow flag there in Sector 1 into Sector 2. And where does Quantum decide to make the move? He's going to have a much tighter line at the exit of turn 14. He's going to have the inside. Josh, well, tried to hold, but it wasn't going to happen in the end. And now he's got Nox for company behind as well. And Nox is going to go for... Oh, no, he thinks... Oh, no, he does. Nox goes for the inside of Josh as they head through turn 1. Josh is going to have the inside for turn 2 if he can keep the pace there in the Ferrari. He is, but Nox is keeping on in there. This is fantastic battle between the two of them. Coming through turn 3 now, and there's contact, a little bit of contact between them. And thankfully, it didn't end too badly. Oh my goodness, no, it has ended badly. And is that Josh with no front wing? As there goes Simba Rocks 1, and goodness me, that's not ideal. Is there front wing damage on that Ferrari? Thankfully for him, no, but he's got tech for company, and that's probably worse than damage with all things said and done. But FRT now into 6th and 9th place, with Dettol just trying to find a way to make himself seen in Joe Murphy's mirror as they head down the start-finish straight to start lap 20 of 35. We're over halfway through this Grand Prix as a little bit of contact. Dettol's trying to find a way through early doors on this lap. Maybe some ERS saving from the both of them right now as they head on through, as Sem is starting to be left behind by Typical. Typical is has still got some good pace about him. Not as good as the two ahead. The Simba Rocks one gets past Nox, but Sem is just starting to lose a little bit of ground, and we will wonder when the next pit stops are going to happen for these intermediate tyres, because especially the guys that came in under the safety car, there's a little bit of drifting work going on from Ogween as he's trying to find every little bit of gap, grip bit possible. But there's certain parts where you think that's not going to get you grip at all. And there goes Silo. Having a quick look up the inside, but nothing doing really. He's still half a second behind, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in F1 cars, it is a certain amount. Let us know in the chat who you think's going to win. Is Joe Murphy going to pull off a surprise last to first victory here? Because that is the other thing. He was starting plumb last. Joe Murphy into the pits then. He's going on to another set of intermediates. He's going to be quick. And let's see where he will come out through this as well. Detolf's deciding to stay out. Into the pits then for Joe Murphy. The longest runner on the intermediate tyres is into the pits. Fresh set of inters, not set of wets, so we can't see it getting any wetter here. He's dropping down the order a little bit. He is currently 7th. Is he going to be a little bit further down? He's into fresh air. That is perfect for Joe Murphy. There's Simba Rocks one, and that tyres heat up perfectly for him, and he will be back underway, attacking very, very shortly. And for the likes of Ogween and Silo, if they don't, they've got to surely pit as well. I know they haven't worn the tyres as much as possibly Joe Murphy has there, but they will have to pit and do a little bit of work, as typical, drifting at turn 5 and nearly lost it, and Sem has caught back up. Venom picking up a penalty for his troubles in 9th place. There's a few penalties coming through now. Into the pits for Maverse. Let's have a look at the penalty situation. 3 seconds for Venom, Hardman, Knox, Josh and Tech. And Tech, I think, has pitted again. Yes, Tech has pitted again. Wets for Maverse, sorry. So he's deciding to go a little bit further. Well, deciding that it's the next stage of wet conditions here. I don't think it is. It's not that bad right now, and we'll have to see how the timings go. Detto into the pits then. Typical, still drifting a little bit now, but now has Sem, Ogween and Silo for company, with Quantum just behind. Where is Detto through all this as well? Detto coming to the end of the pit lane. Where is BRT Joe Murphy? Because that was the driver he was fighting with, and it looks like he's further behind, nearly crossing the whole white line there. Very, very close to getting a possible penalty, but Tettle is 1.5 seconds, and there's a retirement for Knox, who's gone into the pits. He's had enough for the evening, and that's not ideal for him. That's a shame, because he was looking like he was going to be in a fighting position. Let's have a look as we look at the leaders. Typical leads this Grand Prix for the first time from a Sem F1, and Ogween and Silo just behind, with Quantum now a driver in through all this as well. And yeah, top 5 battling away. Joe Murphy is 3.9 seconds. They've got a lot of pressure on this. Simba Rocks 1 picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Getting that black and or whatever flag it is. As yeah, this is turning out to be quite an interesting race for Joe Murphy. He's much quicker, obviously, on this set of intermediates, and he's been, well, gifted, because Ogween has had to fight through. I think he's possibly the next driver to really watch out for through all this. And up the inside, Silo having a look at Ogween. This is going to be interesting then. Down the start-finish straight. Ogween may have made him a little bit of a mistake, but the two of them fighting away. Where does Quantum go in all this? Because Quantum needs the points just as much as Ogween. He decides to go around the outside. I'm not sure if that's the wise thing to do. He's been, well, someone tagged Ogween there. I'm not 100% sure who it is. Ogween's still up the inside, fighting away. He's really fighting away with Silo. Silo, he doesn't want to give that up, but the drifting comes in on the wet part of the track for Silo, and that's allowed Ogween through, and Ogween very close to being caught napping at turn 14 there. But as things stand, BRT Joe Murphy is reeling this top 5 in as quickly as he can. Silo again trying to find any which way through Ogween, but it's not happening on this occasion. Quantum's there as well. And it's going to be interesting through all this, heading down through the second sector. A lovely camera angle from the helicopter cam here, as Silo is all over the back of Ogween, and all of a sudden it is advantage on that side. Detol's caught back up with Joe Murphy. He's 0.5 of a second. And they are 1.2 seconds behind this battle for P1, which is a top 5. Any of them decide to pit? No, they don't. Justin saying in the chat that possibly Joe should have pit boxed later. This is an interesting one. We don't... Well, Quantum is a very... A stone in all this, I think, is the best way to describe it. In Joe Murphy's... because Quantum will do everything he can to hold him up and wear some more of his tyres. But, ooh, Silo again has got past Ogween this time. And there's contact with Quantum and Ogween. Joe Murphy's in there as well, as I was trying to get through. Surely not. Joe Murphy's been pushed off. I wonder if that is going to be looked at by the stewards later on, because Detol now is in front. But it looks very, very much like Joe Murphy was pushed off there. But I will wait to see all that information or later any further information that I can see through that. But I don't think he would have been happy with it at all as we come through. He's still back in there. I think that's Detol making a mistake as well. I wonder who was that. Let's see. I don't think Josh is... Let's see the Maverse Josh. Into the pits goes one of the Mercedes. That must be Sem. Is Josh catching? Is Josh being caught by Maverse? Josh is being caught by Maverse. So I wonder if it's time for wets. This is an interesting thing. Here comes Silo on Typical. Not happening on this occasion, but this is a big one as well. Joe Murphy flowing it up the inside of Ogween and Quantum as well. As surely not, this is going to be interesting heading into turn 2. Joe Murphy holds position from Ogween at the moment. No one else is deciding to go on to a set of wets, so Inters is still the way to go, and I think Maverse has now dropped time to Josh again. Maybe not, actually. Quantum picking up a 3-second time penalty, which is not going to help Novus. This is not going to help Novus at all with their championship hunt through all this, as Joe Murphy looking very, very close to the back end, and also Detol looking very, very close to the back end of him as well, as they head into this tight Sector 2. As Typical still leads the Grand Prix. Sem on a fresh set of Inters for 10 more laps of this race. And I wonder if some of these drivers are thinking, and look at how aggressive the attack from Silo there, as it's all it's just a gaggle of cars. Quantum's involved in this as well. And up goes, and there goes Joe Murphy. He's through, and he's through on Quantum as well. Or is he? Is Quantum still up the inside? The tyre difference is definitely on Joe Murphy's side. Quantum battling away. This is going to be close down into... Look at all the way to the right-hand side. Joe Murphy couldn't find a way past Quantum. Quantum still had it, but the inside is Joe Murphy. And here comes Joe Murphy again, but I think his back end just stepped out, and that's not ideal for Joe. He's side by side now with Typical into turn 2. Side by side still. Quantum just behind. He's being pushed off again. And Joe Murphy is going to absolutely be fuming, because he's now behind Ogween, Detol and Silo again. Quantum leads this Grand Prix, but has a 3-second time penalty. Oh, wow. This is absolutely insane from some of these drivers tonight. Unfortunately, Gabriel picks a 3-second time penalty. Penalties is going to be a big thing to the end of the Grand Prix. Silo is now being held up by Typical. And, oh goodness me, up the insides goes Detol on Silo. They're now side by side. And it's all very, very close. And Detol could be in a chance with winning this one. Josh picking in 3-second time penalty. Silo through, and goodness me, I thought that was going to be another incident there as Joe Murphy gets through. And now he's trying to attack Detto, but he just doesn't have the straight line speed. He's going to be up the inside into turn 1, though. Maybe the grip is going to be there for Joe Murphy on this occasion. It is. And there we go. Into P4 for Joe Murphy. And now he's setting his sights on attacking Detto again. And this is going to be very, very interesting. Detto's now all over the back of Silo. Quantum has run off into the distance with that 3-second penalty. He needs to, as a caution for a yellow flag. I wonder what that is. That is an Aston Martin going very, very slowly. I thought that was Quantum for a second, who's now 2.2 seconds in this lead, as Silo now is holding up the train behind, the train of drivers with quicker, the younger tyres on, as here comes Detto all over the back of Silo. It's just not happening at this moment in time. Typical dropping away a little bit to Ogween, as Sem has caught, well, slowly catching back up. But yeah, ooh, very, very close from Detto, nearly collecting Silo into turn 13. It's now 2.5 seconds the gap, and maybe Quantum won't be pitting. It's lap 27 of 35. Maybe these guys deciding that it's not going to be enough. They can make it to the end of the Grand Prix. Here comes Detto, but he's not close enough on this occasion. Let's have a look at Ogween, who has Simba Rocks one for company just behind, and Gabor as well. He's back up into point scoring positions. With Tech down in 12th, this could be crucial come the end of the race, and with the point scoring and where the championship lies. Looking at it from an Ogween point of view, yeah, from an Ogween point of view right now, and he's just trying to find a way for our typical, which other drivers haven't. Tech now up into 11th. So he's in the points, but it's just not enough, I don't think. With Gabor in 8th, it's, you know, the point scoring just not. And that's even more crucial. 3 seconds to Joe Murphy as well. So the point with Quantum leading the Grand Prix and having possibly 3 seconds or coming in second, with Tech all the way down in 11th and Gabor having that 3 seconds and much more to Placky behind, it's all, yeah, it's just not points wise. Definitely Novus is going to be interesting with this, but BRT Joe Murphy then attacking Detol again into turn 1. It's they gotta consider the fact of they're not fighting each other now. They've got to fight to get to Quantum, so Quantum doesn't win the Grand Prix from both of their point of view. Ogween and Typical battling away, and Ogween can't find a way through again. And here comes Simba Rocks one, as well as Gabor, and oh goodness me, this is getting close. Gabor firing his way up the points, up the table a little bit. Oh, and there's contact with Gabor and Typical, and I wonder if there's damage to Gabor there. There's something that came off, and I'm not sure if it was from Typical's car or if it was from Gabor's. That looks like an end plate missing for the McLaren, and that will be even harder to control now as they come through this tight middle sector back to the leaders, who are slowly catching. Quantum ahead. Tech now gets a 3 second time penalty, and that's not ideal with fighting away with Sem. Okay, they're up. He's up into 10th, and he's a little bit more points, but he's going to be behind Venom and possibly Hardman by the way things are going. Yeah, nothing for Joe Murphy on this occasion, and he's got 3 seconds to his name as well, so he has to finish in front of Quantum, or otherwise it's going to look very, very unhealthy on the point score. But FRT 4th and 5th right now. Great bit of work from them. Ogween down into 7th. Shizou having a nightmare of a race, but TTM 2nd and 9th. They could catch some great point scoring today. which, yeah, lots of drivers. Oh, and Joe Murphy nearly drifting into the entry of turn 5. Just managing to hold on. They are catching Quantum, though. Quantum struggling with the tyres. 18-lap olds. Joe Murphy struggling with 9-lap-old tyres. He's really pushing. He's ragging that car as far and as wide and everything as it's going through. Gabble then in 6th place, doing everything they can for Novus. Novus qualified 1st and 2nd, remember. And they've not had it go their way. The safety car came out possibly a little bit too early for some drivers to go on to a set of inters, but Detol and Joe Murphy are the two that really made it work, and really trying to continue it on now as they come down the start-finish straight for lap 31 of 35. There's going to be no pits now for the likes of Quantum, Silo, Timberrocks, Gabble, or Ogween, or Typical, or Placky. They are going to battle their way through. Tech is all over the back of Placky. Tech could still do something here. Let's see how that one comes through. And Justin in the chat saying they need a DNF, and it's possible they do. But Detto is looking. He's got 10 lap younger tyres. They should be able to do something on Quantum. Let's have a look and see. They just need, from a BRT's perspective, they need Joe Murphy to finish in front of Quantum. That is what step 1. And here comes Detto. He can't do anything on Quantum on this occasion. And Gabble is still being hounded by Ogween behind. And I wonder if Tech can do something. He's slowly catching as well. He's got free air, so he could pump some time in. We'll have to wait and see how it will. But he's got to get past Typical, who is being a absolute roadblock tonight. That's coming through. Oh, and a big Neely brown trouser moment for Detol there, as he somehow manages to keep on to 2nd place. And Joe Murphy's thrown the car up the inside. There's a little bit of contact afterwards, but Joe Murphy into 2nd place. Here comes the BRT Nova scrap that we were expecting. Detol decides to have, well, he thinks about having a look up the inside, but Joe Murphy at the moment. Oh, this is going to be an interesting last 4 laps between the two of them. Tech slowly catching up with Typical behind, ahead. Ogween there, he's going to surely get up to a position or 2 because of penalties, but he can't find a way past Gabble at the moment. There's so many. I'm concentrating on the BRT Novus one, but there's Shazoo and TTM. There's FRT and AMS as well, and AMS have completely gone off the boil, I think. Both their drivers out of this Grand Prix. Ogween picking up a 3-second time penalty. Ogween now is in danger of losing some places. FRT, Silo and Detol in a great position right now. This track is known for its corner cutting in league racing. I say corner cut, track extending in league racing, and it's doing it now. And here's having a look at Joe Murphy. He thinks better of it for the time being. On lap 32 of 35. 3 and a little bit of laps remaining. Again, Joe Murphy finding a little bit of room there. And I think there's a little bit of ghosting as Joe Murphy has made a... Oh, goodness me. I wonder if that's a mistake or if there was some contact. But he's got a lot of work to do now. And that is big discussions from a BRT perspective. He's possibly just put the foot down too early at turn 13, at the exit of turn 13, and it's cost him big time. He is now 3 seconds behind. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting to re-watch that one. Lap 32. It might have been a little tap into the entrance, but then he could have lost it at the exit of turn 13, and that is not ideal for Joe Murphy. He's gonna power his way through. He's already caught some of that time up. You can see how much quicker he is than Quantum through it all anyway. Detto is now in front of Quantum and pulling away. Gabble is not being hounded by Ogween anymore. Tech is up into 8th place. He's 4.6 seconds behind Ogween. I don't think it's going to be enough. Penalty situation, 6th for Tech. That is not going to be ideal for him as well. He could still finish 10th though. he can't get away from Tech Brutal. Sorry, not Typical. But Quantum, 1.8 seconds between him and Joe Murphy. 1.4 between Quantum and Dettel. His tyres are really out of the window. But Dettel is going to, well, he's doing a very good job of keeping the lead at the moment. At 1.5 seconds, and Quantum's back end really stepping out there. Lap 34, the penultimate lap on the penultimate round of the season. And Quantum is doing a very good job of keeping Novus with a shout of this championship tonight. I'm not fully sure on the point scoring position, but if you have just joined us, it has been an action-packed race of many many an incident, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. And we just don't know how it's going to lie with 1.5 laps remaining. Joe Murphy has caught back up with Quantum. Quantum is really struggling for grip. He's on the 22-lap-old intermediates, while Joe Murphy's on 13-lap-olds. This is going to be a super end to the Grand Prix. I think Quantum could have just enough, unless there's going to be some incidents between now and then. With Gabble unable to, with Tech, unable to pull too much away from Typical. Actually, he's pulled away from Typical. It could still be possible he gets the 8th place positional points for the season so far. Is there the fastest lap? It is Dettel at the moment. But yeah, Joe Murphy is now all over the back of Quantum. 2.6 seconds. Joe Murphy, from a BRT's perspective, really needs to make this move stick on Quantum. Novus really needs Quantum to be able to defend from Joe Murphy as they head down the start-finish straight for the final time tonight. A little bit of switching between the two, but it's not going to be enough, and Quantum's made a little bit of a mistake. But I don't think it's going to be enough for Joe to do anything to it. Quantum's now up the inside. A little bit of contact between the two of them again, but I don't think there's anything sinister in that one. Dettel's decided going all the way up the road and checked out for the time being, but this is still fighting away. There's just no way past Quantum. He is the size of a double-decker bus, this back end of this McLaren at the moment. He's doing a good job of holding Joe Murphy up. Shazoo Venom picking up another penalty. He's going to drop down the order a little bit. And what was that there? Is there too wide? I didn't actually see what happened, but Quantum has been passed by Joe Murphy, and I don't think that was a punt to pass. But the 3 seconds, that is perfect for BRT right now. Quantum struggling. Yellow flag from someone in the background. That could be Maverse. As well, it would be amiss of me not to go on board with TTM Dettel, who is going to take victory on track and in some style through all this. That is a wonderful victory for Dettel. Joe Murphy has done absolute wonders for BRT tonight, and that could still cost Novus the title. Quantum coming home in 3rd place there, but Silo in 4th, nearly dispatching Quantum for that 3rd place. Simbarock's wrong 1 in 5th. 6th place to Gabble. Ogween in 7th. Tech does keep 8th place in the end, as there's Sem in 9th. There's some carbon fibre going everywhere through all this. Here's Exotic Planes, coming around the final corner now. And this should be a decent enough finish for them. Josh will get a point in the end as well. This is good for XPG, to say the least. They need as many points as possible. Hopefully, it will give us the standings today on this as well. It will come up and show, but considering it didn't do it in the qualifying, it might not do it at this stage as well. Let us know who you think driver of the day should be in the chat. The game's given it to Joe Murphy. He did come from last to 2nd there, but Dettel taking victory in sublime fashion in the end and showing off on the podium there. But yeah, interesting race. It's going to be an interesting cool down afterwards. This is this is going to be an interesting one to boil down. And oh wow. With the point, it's not gonna. Unfortunately, it's not gonna show it. It's gonna do this horrendous thing of not being able to give us the end of race graphics. Because why wouldn't it? Let's have a look at the season calendar. Victory for Detto in the end. Does a world of good for the Shizou, for the TTM team against Shizou. We'll have to wait for that to all come down. I think that is the championship. Done and dusted, I think, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Points and everything to go through as well for everyone. It was a very, very hard fought Hungarian Grand Prix. Got a feel for Joe Murphy. He did a very good job of getting up there, but some incidents cost him in the end. Finished in front of Ogwin though, so I wonder if that will amount for anything in the standings, because surely they could still be in a chance for this, because it's 35 for a win, 30 for a second. That's 65 points if my max works correctly there. So surely that means not TT, I'm sorry, BRT still in the chance to winning this, but they just need Novus to exactly mess it up. But which is possible. Anything can happen in F1, and it usually does. But let's enough about that for now. We have got our way through all this. We started this season in Britain, where Justin took victory in the BRT team in Silverstone. Then in Italy, the Imola Grand Prix, it was Gabor that took victory there. Then TTM or CRE Vettel took victory at round 3, which is the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Then round 4, we had Bobbits for Shizou took victory. He led the standings for a little while as well. That was at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Then our first mystery round of the season, it was another victory for Gabor in America. Netherlands then saw Quantum really... sorry, not Quantum. Quantum were on the next race. Netherlands was FGE Jake that took victory. Then in round 8 was the Belgian Grand Prix, and that was Quantum really got into the way of things. Ogwin then did a double header in round 9 and round 10 for Shizou. 2 victories, 2 races. He couldn't do that tonight. But that was Ogwin victory at last week's Monza Grand Prix. And Las Vegas the week before that. Goodness me. Thank you everyone for watching and going through that Grand Prix with us tonight. It is a victory for Detto in the end, with BRT Joe Murphy finishing second. In third place, it was Quantum. So he had 25 points. There was a 5-point swing towards BRT. So BRT definitely with a chance still. But the FRT drivers of Silo and Simba Rox1 really doing a good job through that 4th and 5th there. Gabor then claims 6th, 7th to Ogwin, and 8th to Tech. So that's going to be some interesting points maneuverability there. Then Sem in his debut, having a good race there in 9th place, and 10th to Placky. Typical. Got a little bit of issues probably with the stewards through that. Is going to be in 11th. Venom in 12th. 13th to Hardman. Exotic Planes in 14th. And then 15th to Josh. And there we have it, everybody. That is the Grand Prix here tonight at the Hungarian Grand Prix is over and done with. And yeah, the finale next week in Japan, Suzuka. a traditional end to the season for a few seasons back in the 90s as well. So it's a great way to end the season here in CSS. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.